The people today are getting sick and dying younger and younger. I have a friend's friend who is 30 plus years old, and yet he got stroke like 3 times already, and now I think he's half paralyzed. I have friends who are 26 or 27 years old, and yet they have gout or they have high cholesterol, and it's not looking well for them, because if you're that young and you've got these issues already, how are you going into your old age, right? And I myself, when I was 28 years old, I had pre-diabetes. I was overweight and I was having shortness of breath and had a wound on my toe, not healing for a few months. Thank God that I was healed, and God led me through a process of healing after to discover more in these issues as time goes by. And I actually spent 2 years on this journey to find out more about health and to actually have this solution, of which I hope to share with you. So what I am sharing with you today in this video is like a brief overview of my more detailed work, of which I have presented in written form. I'm going to share the link to my article down below or on YouTube, maybe to the right corner. So if you click on the link, you can check out my references and also more data on what I actually been through, and also the scientific paper behind what I found. First off, our maximum lifetime according to God in the Bible is 120 years, and this is written in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 3. And this is like saying that a car has a max lifespan or max endurance of 200,000 miles. But not all cars can last 200,000 miles. It depends like how well they are maintained and what kind of fuel they use, and all sort of factors come into play. So this is the details on which we want to go into, so that we can actually reach the maximum that we can have in this reality. But of course, it is all for a purpose. It's not just for our own sake. So now the question becomes, what kind of food and lifestyle and what should we do in order to achieve the peak physical, mental and spirit condition, so that we can have all the time we need or enough time we need to actually achieve and fulfill the mission that God gave us in this reality itself. Of course, we want to complete our mission before we go back to God, right? So this is essentially what this video is about. So I'm going to present this to you in point form. And this is point number 1. When we eat more energy, when we intake more energy, our body will burn more energy. And this causes wear and tear to the body. We are not talking about metabolic rate or anything like that. We're just saying that the body has this tendency or nature to burn more energy as we consume more energy, and this causes problem. The metabolic rate is like how able is the body to burn energy in this set period of time. We're not talking about that. As an analogy, it's like when our body has more money, it will spend more money, but it's not talking about how well or how able is the body to spend all the money. So it's just talking about its tendency to spend more money when it has more money. This is not a video about weight loss. This is a video about longevity, how you can achieve the max lifespan you can so that you can fulfill your mission here. So the proof to this is this: when you fast, when you stop eating food, or you just tune down on all your caloric intake and just drink water, you feel colder. On the other hand, when you eat a lot of high energy food like sugar stuff and simple carbohydrates, a lot of them, then you tend to feel hotter and you need aircon. But if you fast, if you don't eat food for a few days, you feel very cold and you don't need aircon, and in fact you might need a blanket. So this is the proof that there's a difference right there. So the thing is that when you burn hotter, that's when your rate of aging gets faster. That's why it affects the lifespan, because we are talking about the rate of aging here. The second point is this: when we fast, our body regenerates. So when we stop eating and we just drink water, our body will regenerate itself. So when we stop eating, our resources which are dedicated to actually digesting food, it gets freed up, and so that it can actually seek out the damaged cells in our body to actually recycle them and actually to make new ones. So we can achieve this regeneration process by just resting ourselves from eating for a period of time. And this is actually shown also in Longo's experiment, of which I shared in the article that I shared to you earlier. So I myself experienced this when I had eczema which didn't go away for a long time. So I fasted 3 days. I just drink water, and the itching stopped, and that allowed me to heal. On another occasion, I actually have been struggling with gastritis. I did a gastroscopy a few times, and it just showed that it's inflamed. So I think I had allergic gastritis. So during pre-Easter fast, about 2 years ago, God gave me the courage to actually stop eating food and only drink water for 7 days. And on the 7th day, I healed from my gastritis, and I actually can eat anything right now. Before this, when I had gastritis, I can only eat certain food, otherwise I'll get gastric. So this makes a lot of difference. And point number 3 is that we need to understand nutrition. But besides the nutritional values itself, the more important thing is that we need to understand what insulin is and what insulin resistance is. So insulin is like this. Insulin is something which brings the nutrients from the blood into the cells. But the funny thing about insulin is that every time it activates, it gets less and less efficient. The wall of the cell will become harder and harder for the insulin to pass through, something like that. So this is what insulin resistance is. And because of this resistance, it causes the nutrients which are important for cell regeneration or for cell utilization, for the cell to use, it becomes stuck in the environment, in the blood. That's why we get problems like high cholesterol, because cholesterol, instead of being used for the cell wall repairs and all that stuff, it just stays outside in the blood. That's where the problem is. Or example for gout, the amino acids, the protein, instead of being used instead of it being going to the cell for it to be used for building or to regenerate, it actually stays in the blood, and that causes gout. So it goes on and on. Like sugar, for example, instead of being used in the cell as energy, it stays in the blood and it causes a lot of problems. So that's diabetes. This also can apply to nutrients. So nutrients that are very important, it can be blocked off by resistance. So how do we reduce this resistance? So this is where I actually made a chart, an insulin resistance or insulin index chart for every food. I mean, not for every food, it's like for every food that I found on this university article which shows the insulin index. I actually reinterpreted the values to show that how much insulin is activated when you consume every 100 grams of that food. You get access to my insulin chart in the article that I shared to you earlier, of which I will share to you down below. So I hope that this chart can help you to actually make better food decisions. On the other hand, nutrient itself is very important, as everyone knows. So it's good to actually also read up on how each nutrient affect your body and what every food you eat, what kind of nutrients does it have, so that you can make choices like what to include in your meal and whatnot. So the knowledge in this area is a key aspect to actually taking control of your life and your health. So something very interesting about insulin resistance is this. You can see similar patterns to this resistance, for example, in a room. So this room is very smelly, and if you go into the smelly room, the first hour maybe you feel that it's smelly, but after 2 or 3 hours you no longer feel that it's smelly. You get used to it, right? Or like you drive a car. So the faster it goes, the more wind resistant it feels. It will have like on a car. So, and also like maybe money. So the more money you make, the more money you need to feel the same level of satisfaction as compared to the first 10 ringgit you make, for example. So this is the nature of insulin resistance. It's something that is a fact in our body, and we need to actually manage ourselves to actually go around this insulin resistance. So what actually reduces insulin resistance is the food intake. So we should eat food that don't activate insulin as much, so that there will be net rest resistance and the absorption of nutrients can be more efficient. The second thing that reduces resistance is exercise. So we need to have nutrient and activity at the same time. Okay, so like for myself, this is what I do. When I wake up every day, I will pray, then I will read the Bible. Then after that, I will do pumping 50 times, and then only I am allowed to read the messages on my phone. Then after that, I will jog in the garden nearby my house 1 round. Then after that, I can only do my farming. because I'm learning how to plant my own food. So you yourself, you need to actually design a schedule for yourself around these key aspects in your life, like the activity for yourself, so that you can actually be stronger, you can build yourself up. So there is an idea that insulin resistance can be passed down from parent to child. Because of this, so children can have a higher level of insulin resistance compared to their parents. That may be why the people of today are getting sick younger and younger, because they already had a higher insulin resistant threshold to begin with, so they had a head start in this sense. And this is good because this opposes the gene theory in terms of disease, because if you are sick because of genetic, but like let's say for example your parents have diabetes and then you have diabetes, and then you say that, oh, it's because of my genes, then what can you do with your genes, right? You can't actually change anything if that is really true. But since insulin resistance can be passed down, this opposes the gene theory, the idea that you're diabetic because of your genes. Because if it's because of insulin resistance, there's plenty of things you can do to actually overcome it, to go about managing this resistance. And also nowadays there's this new idea, it's called epigenetics, which says that you can influence your environment to activate or deactivate the genes in yourself. So this is very good things because it actually opposes the idea of predetermination in our lives. Because if everything is determined in our lives, then nothing does matter. What for you do anything at all, right, if everything is really determined by fate? Okay, some people, they think that I share about health is because I'm very paranoid or what. No, that's not true. To be aware of your health is not something of a paranoia where it makes you be afraid of everything. No, that is not my intention, and that is not how you should interpret my sharing to you. How this should be is that I hope that because you realize all of this, so you can manage yourself better. It's about self-management, so that you can achieve and fulfill the mission you have in this reality that God gave you. This is very important because we all need you. And why I share to you is because of love, to which I hope to share to you my book as well. I went through a journey of 14 years to find out what love is, and that is the same love that I want to share with you. And I share my book online for free. The link to my book is down below, and also on YouTube is to the right corner here. About death, we can't choose when we die, but we can choose the state of the personal relationships that we leave behind. So it's good to be prepared always in your relationships, so that whenever you leave them in a good condition. This is important because relationships is the real investment, is the real wealth that we have in our lives, especially when we understand really what money is, of which the video I can share to you guys in the link below and YouTube to the right side. So because of the 3 points I shared to you, energy management, fasting, and also the insulin index that I shared to you, you are free to use these 3 tools that I gave you to actually design a food habit or food lifestyle for yourself that fits your schedule. For example, for myself, because I know all these things, on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I normally fast lunch. So I don't eat lunch on these 3 days, and my breakfast, I will eat a simple meal of slow cooked beans without sugar, salt and oil. So my breakfast will be that bean meal. Then at night time I eat normal with my friends and family. Then Tuesday, Thursday and weekends I eat 2 meals. And this is how I've been eating for the past 5 months. Before this I did more fasting, but now I feel that I need more energy. So I decided to eat the bean meal to actually supplement my strength as I work through the day. So you can design like your food and health lifestyle based on these 3 tools that I gave you as before. And those of you who are looking to lose weight, don't worry, because when you know all these 3 tools well and you use them, definitely you will lose weight. But the thing is that the goal is not just to lose weight. Losing weight is just winning the battle. Why not win the war? Why not live a full life, a life that is 120 years old, and also to be strong even in your old age and to actually finish your mission here? In theory, with these three tools, and if it's done well, it should give us the phenomenons of what happened in the Bible, where Sarah, Abraham's wife, when she was 40 years old, there are kings who still go after her because she has retained her youth. And Caleb, when he was 80 years old, he still has the strength to conquer even mountains. Why not we spend 120 years of our life and dedicate our service to God's purpose for humanity right here, to serve the community around us, to make a change in this reality, to bring about God's kingdom here. These three methods here should reduce our rate of aging enough that we can have more time here. But of course, 120 years will be unbearable if the relationships around us are horrible, are in shambles. So that's where we need to know what love is. We need to be able to wield the power of true love, which lasts forever. So with this, actually I want to share to you that I have spent 14 years of my life to find out what love is, and I have written a book about this. I share this book with you freely in this link down below and on YouTube to the right. So I hope that my book can help you to find true love everlasting and to have this power to actually bring about change in this world. True love everlasting is the core of everything in this reality, and it is what brings about perfection here. Although death is a fact of life in this point of time, through Jesus, death is just the beginning of the resurrection to come. And through resurrection, the endless horizon of eternity awaits us.